الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, my dear children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today inshallah I will continue my talk regarding Prophet Soleman alayhi salatu wassalam. Last episode I stopped at verse 35, chapter 38, Surah Sad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قال رب اغفر لي وهب لي ملكا لا ينبغي لأحد من بعدي إنك أنت الوهاب. Soleman asked Allah to forgive him, asked for forgiveness, and asked for a kingdom which should never be given to anyone after him. A kingdom which will have superpower, control over so many things. And Allah granted him the kingdom and never gave anything similar to any prophet or messenger after him, or even any person, any human being. وَهَبْ لِي مُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِي, and grant me a kingdom which will not belong to another after me. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْوَهَابِ, because you are the one who grants things, or the grantor of bounties. So what did Allah give him which made him a superpower? In verse 36, chapter 38, فَسَخَّرْنَا لَهُ الرِّيحَ تَجْرِي بِأَمْرِهِ رُخَاءً حَيْثُ أَصَابَ. We subjected the wind to his power, to flow gently to his order, whithersoever he willed. So Allah is saying, we made the wind subservient unto him. Wherever he directed it, it will bring something good. So number one, the wind was under the control of Soleman alayhi salatu wassalam. Secondly, وَالشَّيَاطِينَ كُلَّ بَنَّاءٍ وَغَوَّاصٍ, as also Satans, including every kind of builder and diver. So Allah gave Soleman the power to control Satans, to do any work for him. Those who were involved with the structure or the building or the construction of the temple of Soleman in Jerusalem, and those who were involved in diving. And when you dive, you can get pearls and corals from the sea, and they use them in decoration. وَآخَرِينَ مُقَرَّنِينَ فِي الْأَصْفَادِ, as also others bound together in fetters. So there were also Satans who were punished by Soleman. He punished them, and they were actually bound together in fetters, which means like they've been chained. Soleman had the power over the jinn and the Satans, and he also had the power to punish any of them who would not obey his order. Allah says that this was given to him, such are our bounties, which هذا عطاؤنا, this is our bounties which we gave to David. Now, interestingly enough, the mention of the wind and the jinn and the Satans is also mentioned in other two chapters, which I would like also to explain to you. So I think I'll go to Surah Al-Anbiya, and this is the Prophet chapter, the Prophet 21, and reading from verse 81. وَلِسُلَيْمَانَ الرِّيحَ عَاصِفَةً تَجْرِي بِأَمْرِهِ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ الَّتِي بَارَكْنَا فِيهَا وكنا بكل شيء عالمين. It was our power that made the violent wind, unruly wind, flow tamely for Solomon. So Soleman had the power to make the wind either to go very fast or to go slowly. And the command came to his order to the land which we had blessed. Here it refers to the Holy Land. It was our power that made the violent, unruly wind flow tamely for Solomon. To his order, to the land which we had blessed. For we do know all things. And in verse 82, chapter 21, وَمِنَ الشَّيَاطِينِ مَن يَغُوصُونَ لَهُ وَيَعْمَلُونَ عَمَلًا دُونَ ذَلِكَ. وَيَعْمَلُونَ عَمَلًا دُونَ ذَلِكَ. And of Satans were some who dived for him, and some who did other work besides. And it was we who guarded them. وَكُنَّا لَهُمْ حَافِظِينَ. So the power of Allah was involved here to protect Soleman from the evil of the evil ones. And in Surah Saba, Sheba, chapter 34, verse 12, وَلِسُلَيْمَانَ الرِّيحَ غُدُوُّهَا شَهْرٌ وَرَوَاحُهَا شَهْرٌ. And to Solomon we made the wind obedient. Its early morning stride was a month's journey, and its evening stride was a month's journey. And the commentary here, 3803, the winds are swift and can cover in a short morning's or evening's flight the distance which it takes a whole month to cover on foot or by bullock cart. In our own day, with air speeds of 400 miles and more per hour, this seems a moderate statement. The rest of the verse refers to the jinn again. وَمِنَ الْجِنِّ مَا يَعْمَلُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ وَمَنْ يَزِغْ مِنْهُمْ عَنْ أَمْرِنَا نُذِقْهُ مِنْ عَذَابِ السَّعِيرِ. And from among the jinn, they worked for him by the command of his Lord. And they were subject to the protection, or Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam was protected by Allah from the jinn, and whoever would not obey his command, Allah would punish him severely. So let me read the full note, the full verse. And to Solomon we made the wind obedient. Its early morning stride was a month's journey, and its evening stride was a month's journey. And we made a font of molten brass to flow for him. This is very interesting, because Allah talks about عين القطر وأسلنا له عين القطر. Sulaiman used brass to build the temple. So Allah gave him a font of molten brass to flow for him. And then Allah ends the verse by saying, وَمِنَ الْجِنِّ مَن يَعْمَلُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ. For him. And there were jinn that worked in front of him by the command of his Lord. And if any of them turned aside from our command, we made him taste of the punishment of the blazing fire. So although the jinn were created or originated from fire, but again, Allah has a special fire for them to burn them with, or to punish them with. The footnote regarding the brass, the font of molten brass, 3804. In the Old Testament, it's mentioned, are described the various costly materials with which Solomon's temple was built, and it was furnished with vessels, candlesticks, lamps, censers, etc. Solomon made all these vessels in great abundance, for the weight of the brass could not be found out. This is volume 2, Chronicles, chapter 5, chapter 6, verse 18. So now we can reflect on the power which Allah gave Soleman. He had an army made out of humans and jinn and birds. And he had the power over the wind. And he employed and controlled jinn and satans. You know, satans are from the jinn, the bad ones from the jinn, to work for him. And Allah provided full protection for him from their evil. And you may recall in the last episode, Allah gave him or taught him how to communicate with birds. So he was taught the speech of the birds. Now I'm going to move to Surah An-Naml again, chapter 27, the ants, and we are going to talk today about a new encounter between Soleman alayhi salatu wassalam and the queen of Sheba, Bilqais, the queen of Sheba. What did happen? One day, Soleman was inspecting the troops, like any king looking at his army. And that day he was actually inspecting the section which deals with his air force, his birds. And Allah says in verse 20, chapter 27, وَتَفَقَّدَ الطَّيْرَ وَتَفَقَّدَ الطَّيْرَ. So he looked, inspected all the birds. And there was one bird missing. So he said, ما لي لا أرى الهدهد أم كان من الغائبين. Why can't I see the hoopoe? Or is he among the absentees? Very interesting. The hoopoe, I'll give you the spelling of the word, Hoopoe. A beautiful, beautiful bird which has like a crest on his head. It's and beautiful colors. If you haven't seen him, Google it on the internet and have a look at how beautiful this bird is. Let me see if there is a footnote regarding this. 3262. Solomon was no idle or easygoing king. He kept all his organization strictly up to the mark, both his armies literally and his forces metaphorically. His most mobile arm was the birds, who were light on the wing and flew and saw everything like efficient scouts. One day, he missed the hoopoe in the muster. The hoopoe is a light, graceful creature with elegant plumage of many colors and a beautiful yellow crest on his head, which entitles him to be called a royal bird. You please have a look on the internet and see how does the hoopoe look like. So when Soleman did not find him, what did he say? لَأُعَذِّبَنَّهُ عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا. I am going to punish him so severely. أَوْ لَأَذْبَحَنَّهُ. Or in fact, I'm going actually to slay him. I'm going to execute him. I'm going to cut his throat. أو لَيَأْتِيَنِّي بِسُلْطَانٍ مُبِينٍ. Or he gives me a good reason for not attending the parade today. After a while, In verse 22, we are told that the hobo came back and he went straight to Soleman and started the conversation by saying, I have news which you don't have. And look how confident the bird was, talking to the king, to a man, a superpower like Soleman. أحط بما لم تحط به. I have information, I have news which you do not have, you do not possess. What is the news? وجئتك من سبأ بنبأ يقين. وجئتك من سبأ بنبأ يقين. I have brought news to you from Sheba, south of Arabia, where we have Yemen now. Yaqeen means a true information. Naba, yaqeen, certain, 100% correct. So the hoopoe was so confident. There is a story in some of the interpretation, tafsir, books of tafsir, they say, when the hoopoe came, the birds said to him, where have you been? Where have you been? Suleiman has promised to torture you, to punish you severely, or cut your throat. So he said, was there an exemption? They said, yes, if you have good news, if you have a good reason, then you are exempt. He said, don't worry, I have a very good reason for that. So he told the news to Soleman in verse 23. إني وجدت امرأة تملكهم. I found a queen ruling them in Sheba. وأوتيت من كل شيء. She has been given of everything. This is very interesting because when Soleman started his speech, you may recall, he said, we have been given of everything as well. ولها عرش عظيم. She has a great throne. عرش عظيم. It's referring actually to the seat on which the queen would sit, the throne, a magnificent throne. And the hoopoe continued in verse 24. وجدتها وقومها يسجدون للشمس من دون الله. I found her and her people prostrating themselves, worshipping the sun instead of worshipping the one true God who created the sun. Oh my goodness. So the hoopoe was a believer. He was a Muslim hoopoe. He was a believer. He believed in the one true God, of course. That was the message of Soleman. Soleman was teaching the oneness of God, like his father David and all those before them. وزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فصدهم عن السبيل فهم لا يهتدون. Satan allured things in their eyes, convinced them that what they are doing is 100% correct. Worshipping the sun is the right thing. Not to worship the one who created it, but worship the object. فصدهم عن السبيل. So he kept them away from the right path. فهم لا يهتدون. So unfortunately they received no guidance, no hidayah. And then in the next verse, the hoopoe now is wondering, how come they do that? ألا يسجدوا لله. How come they do not prostrate themselves to the one true God? How come they do not worship the one true God? Who is he? الذي يخرج الخبأ في السماوات والأرض ويعلم ما تخفون وما تعلنون. The hoopoe was acting like a messenger of God. He is delivering the message so that they worship not Allah who brings forth what is hidden in the heavens and the earth and knows what you hide and what you reveal. These are the attributes of God which made the hoopoe wonder. How come these people do not recognize the one true God? الذي يخرج الخبأ في السماوات والأرض. The one who brings forth what is hidden in the heavens and the earth. ويعلم ما تخفون وما تعلنون. And he knows what you conceal, what you hide, and what you reveal. And in verse 26, he mentioned who is God. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa rabbul arshil azim. Allah. There is no God but Him, the Lord of the throne supreme. So the hoopoe came and challenged Soleman. I have information which you don't have. I have found a queen ruling these people, and she has a great throne and she has everything, but unfortunately they don't worship the one true God, they worship the sun. Okay, he delivered the message to Soleman. So Soleman looked at him and he said, this is very interesting. Soleman didn't believe him. He did not believe him. He doubted. He said to him, قال سننظر أصدقت أم كنت من الكاذبين. Soon we shall see whether you has told the truth or lied. Okay, very simple. Okay. Then Soleman decided to write a letter, to send a letter to the Queen of Sheba. اذهب بكتابي هذا. Take this letter. فألقه إليهم. Deliver it to them. ثم تولى عنهم فانظر ماذا يرجعون. Then draw back from them and wait to see what answer they return. So now the hope is going to fly all the way from the Holy Land, where Jerusalem, from Jerusalem all the way to Sheba, carrying the letter with him. And he went all the way. He entered the court of the queen and he dropped the letter. So the queen opened the letter and immediately read it out to her parliament, to her chiefs. قالت يا أيها الملأ. Oh chiefs, إني ألقي إلي كتاب كريم. I have just received a letter. Not any letter. She said كتاب كريم. An honorable letter. A letter worthy of respect. Subhanallah. Very, very sensible woman. Don't forget, we are comparing here two queens, the queen of the ants and the queen of Sheba. Okay? إني ألقي إلي كتاب كريم. A letter worthy of respect being just received, just been delivered to me. إنه من سليمان. It is from Soleman. Soleman signed Soleman at the bottom. وإنه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. You see, the first thing Soleman wrote, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. You know, in the Quran, we have 114 chapters, surahs. One of them has no بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, and that's Surah At-Tawbah. But in Surah An-Naml, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم is mentioned twice. At the beginning of the surah and in the middle of the surah, regarding the letter which Soleman sent to Bilqais, the queen of Sheba, radiallahu anha. And what was the body of the message? ألا تعلوا علي وأتوني مسلمين. Don't be arrogant against me, but come to me in submission to the true religion. Now Soleman is inviting them to Islam. How did the queen respond to such a message? When we talk about writing letters, they say, again in the books of tafsir, interpretation of the Quran, this is the most perfect letter. It has Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The message is very clear. The signature is Soleman. That's what we need when we send a message. Then she, after she read the letter loudly to her members of the parliament, her chiefs, the chiefs, she said, قالت يا أيها الملأ. O people, O my chiefs, أفتوني في أمري. Advise me. She used to consult with her people. It shows how great, how good this queen was. Very democratic. She did not throw the letter away in the bin or burn it as the Persian ruler at the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he sent a message to him and he simply told him put it in the fire. No, very honorable woman. أفتوني في أمري, advise me, please. ما كنت قاطعة أمرا حتى تشهدون. I will never do anything without consultation with you, without you being involved in my decision. I'm not like that. She's not like the Pharaoh of Egypt who said at the time of Moses, he said, ما أريكم إلا ما أرى وما أهديكم إلا سبيل الرشاد. No, she didn't say that. يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في أمري ما كنت قاطعة أمرا حتى تشهدون. My chiefs, advise me in this. I will never decide anything without you being involved. So the chiefs responded to her. قالوا نحن أولو قوة وأولو بأس شديد. We are a very powerful nation. We are very strong. We have a great army. We are endued with strength and given to war affairs. We know how to fight a battle. However, the final decision is yours. You are in charge. You are our queen. The final والأمر إليك. The final decision is yours. فانظري ماذا تأمرين. So you decide or you consider what you would like to do. Whatever you command us to do, we will listen to you. Very wise queen, and very wise and sensible members of the parliament. Verse 34, قالت إن الملوك إذا دخلوا قرية أفسدوها وجعلوا أعزة أهلها أذلة وكذلك يفعلون. She said, kings, when they enter a country, they destroy it, they spoil it, and make the noblest of its people its meanest. وَكَذَلِكَ يَفْعَلُونَ. Yes, they do that. And Allah is saying that. وَكَذَلِكَ يَفْعَلُونَ. Yes. So what she is saying, when kings invade any community, qarya here, qarya means village or city or town or country, what they would do, أفسدوها. They spread a lot of mischief in it. وَجَعَلُوا أَعِزَّةَ أَهْلِهَا أَذِلَّةً. And those who were the noble people in the community, they would make them the meanest. And Allah is saying, yes, they do that. So she suggested that she is going to send a present to them. And she will send her ambassadors with so many gifts to Soleman. And she said, we will wait for the response they will bring back with them. Very wise queen. Amazing. So what she did, she sent the presents with her ambassadors, traveling all the way from Sheba all the way to Jerusalem. The interesting thing here, there is something again in the books of tafsir that she said, if he is just a king and he will accept the gifts, we will fight him. But if he refuses to accept the gifts, then we would know that he is a prophet of God, a messenger of God, and we will follow him. I'm going to stop here now, and inshallah in the next episode I will continue this part of the story where the hoopoe was involved, and the Queen of Sheba and King Soleman alayhi salatu wassalam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to his straight path and keep us on it, and protect us all from every evil, and reward you all abundantly in this life and the hereafter, and admit you all to his gardens of bliss, inshallah, in the hereafter. And please remember, we are still in need of your donations, so please donate generously for our mosque. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.